Hello. Congratulations on being here for Beyond Common Business Secrets. I'm your host, Tracey Watts-Serino, and we have such a treat for you today. As you have been noticing, we have been having some really fun segments that are all about sort of coaching the coaches. We have been so blessed to have a special curated group of people that are business owners that are looking to grow and scale their business to the next level. So this is a deep dive behind the scenes into what it looks like to really help people through the different stages of growing their business. And I am so excited about our guest today, Lauren Oberly, who has become a dear friend of mine. Lauren is an intuitive, she is an intuitive human design guide. She is a quantum healer, speaker, and she's also one of the co-authors in Women Who Dream with me. So Lauren and I became friends instantly from across Zoom. And then when we met in person, it was like sisterhood immediately. So Lauren, I have been so anticipating you being on the podcast today. I'm so excited you're here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. And I always feel when you introduce me, I'm like, or I guess like anybody introduce me like when I'm a guest on a podcast, I'm like, wow, that actually sounds really good. Like it's
It
kind
does
of,
because you're amazing.
it's like I kind of just do what I do and I just kind of do it, it's just kind of comes natural. So it's like, but when you hear about it, it's very humbling. Like, I'm like, wow, that I really want to meet her. Like if I didn't already know
Yeah, see, like that, and that's how our listeners feel. So I love that because it's like you're so busy doing all the things that
Yeah.
it's like that humbling minute to just kind of sit there and receive
Yeah.
all the gratitude that I have for you and that I know our listeners are going to have for you. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. That what a beautiful way to start. I'm
I
excited.
know. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you, before we dive into your questions and start like digging around behind the scenes of what's working and not working in your business, can you share with our listeners, like, what is an intuitive human design guide? What is a quantum healer? Like, to share what these like really amazing words actually mean.
Sure. So, an intuitive is just somebody that's just intuitive, just has, special gifts. They're different for everybody. And then the human design guide is, I don't know if any of your listeners have heard about human design, but there's a lot of human design teachers, human design readers, certified, like there's just so many different titles. And I never really resonated with any of them. So it's like, I kind of talk to the universe and, I know my purpose and my purpose here or my passion was healing or a healer. And I never really resonated with healer, which is where quantum healing comes from because quantum just means fast and it's different realms, so it's not 3D, it's more 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, other realms, and you just work with different energies through the healing. And I love theta, so that's kind of intertwined with theta, or quantum healing. And a lot of people, there's a lot of people throw the word quantum around a lot. Like there's quantum human design. That's what I was drawn to it originally. And, I always tell people that the word quantum just means fast. So, and obviously with us being humans, we want fast results, but it's kind of used it negatively, I feel like, in the spiritual space because it's like how can I get to 10-figure months, very quickly? And it's like, it's not that quick. Right. So, I always, and there's, and it's a new year and everybody's like, let's get you paid. Let's, all this stuff. And I don't really resonate with any of that because it's not about how quick you can make money. It's about like how consistent, right? Like how you can be consistent and authentic and stay in integrity. And I feel like, I hesitated so much to call myself a quantum healer is because of that kind of negative connotation, around it. But I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And it fits and it like feels good. So that's kind of like what a quantum healer is. And where I got intuitive human design guide is because I've self-taught myself. Now I'm currently, now doing certification in quantum human design certification, but I'm very transparent when I do read charts. I read them intuitively. So yeah, I have a lot of knowledge about human design, but I'm also channeling from your spirit guides. I'm channeling from whoever is coming through for you, that I'm channeling messages that you need to know. So it's not, so yeah. So my system is human design. Like I will read your chart. I will give you information and tangible tools like to understand the human design, but it's not like it's um a system that's going to tell you all of the answers. Like you have to do
Yeah.
that work, right?
Right.
So
Like, and
that's
you're
great.
so in, I mean, just knowing you, you are so intuitive to, so I really love that it's just so in alignment with everything you embody.
Yeah.
So, and it's such a great way to allow you to use tools that really help people remove their like roadblocks. So I
Yeah.
love the work that you're doing with human design. I mean,
Yeah.
you've taught me so much. I mean, I just barely have scratched the surface, but it has helped me a ton.
Yeah.
As somebody that's dedicated, I feel like I've been on a healing journey since I was 16. Like my mom, I remember my mom being weirded out that I was reading a psychology book from college at 16. She's like, you just decided last week that you would actually read. And then, because I didn't read books
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah.
Um, and then she's like, I'm so confused. But it was always seeking healing. And so
Right.
this has been amazing to get to know you. And you've taught me so much about human design.
Yeah.
And like it just has taken so many of the ways that I work with my clients to the next level. So that I'm so excited that you're here, that we can like
Yay.
really dive into that.
Yeah.
So so it's like one of these things. This is a question that comes up. So you are intuitive when it comes to other people,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So what happens when it comes to applying this to your business? What happens for you?
That's like a very loaded question. Um, the first thing that pops in my mind is resistance. I feel like it's easier for me to, and I know I talk a lot about like resistance, like us needing resistance, but I feel like it's easier for me to help guide somebody else, I should say, in their blocks. Um, because I feel like probably mine's coming from maybe a shadow place or, I know we talked about this, previously, but just from not realizing that my own like mentors, like my own mentors, what didn't have my best and highest good. So it's having those kind of resistant roadblocks that I knew about, but I just wanted to ignore that kind of kept me stuck. So I feel like, just listening and following my own guidance, through my own strategy and authority would, making sure I'm an emotional, for anybody that doesn't know human design, my or my inner authority for my intuition is emotions. So it's like making sure that I'm emotionally balanced when I'm making decisions and not making a decision when I'm not emotionally balanced, and waiting for that emotional clarity, I should say, that comes through. And I don't feel like I always do that. And I think that that is where my resistance would come from with doing this, like for my own business.
Like waiting to you're in that neutral to
Yeah.
make, yeah, oh, it's going to be amazing, or oh, it's going to be the worst.
Yes. And then it's just like I will resist it so much that I would do everything. And, it's like I would rather hit my head on my brick wall like constantly than just to change. Like it's just
Yeah.
that it's that powerful, I feel like.
And I think that in lots of business owners that I coach and mentor, that is a very common thing.
Yeah.
Whether they're aware of the language, like you have a very clear language around everything you know about human design.
Yeah.
So you bring an incredible level of awareness that 85% of the planet does not have.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing of like, um, other people that I talk to all the time are like, oh, there's something's not right. Like I keep like they'll say stuff like I keep messing up or I keep making the same mistake. I'm repeating a pattern, so like, but they still have not arrived at like, okay, I need to step back,
Right.
come at it with a different sense of clarity before making another decision that leads us whoop to that loop-de-loop, right?
Right. Yeah, I always say it's like human design is a different perspective, I guess you could say. And the way that you can look at it from this perspective, you take yourself out of it, and it's like you're looking at it from a different perspective. You're looking at it from the lens of human design. And then it's easier, for whatever reason that is, it's easier for you to accept it and then allow it to happen and then move on. Because that's all it really is. If we don't accept ourselves or wherever we are, or if there's no like acceptance or understanding, you can't integrate any of that stuff until
Yeah.
you accept it. And I don't care if I tried, always, I've tried, it's called spiritual bypassing. I tried going around it, trying to go like, you have to go through it. There's no other way to do it. You got to go through it. You got to figure it out. And then, you'll, come out on the other side regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Save yourself a lot of time.
I, I would say that that has been one of the best things for me in learning human design was being that I'm a manifester and a not self-famous anger
Yeah.
that I used to be like, always sort of shaming myself, beating myself up for anger when now I just like breathe into it and say, okay, like I'm angry. Let's process the anger and move on.
Right.
And it's so much better. It's
Yeah.
like, it's so funny. It's like there was a time that I remember always being like that when I was younger, that I could
Mhm.
go from crying to anger in like 60 seconds or less, like a baby. And to be back there again as an adult is really freeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, it's
so
just
it's
emotional. It's like that emotional regulation for your nervous system. So it's like breathing is the best. Like, I always say, like, we just talked about before we got on the call about like the shamanic journey and like light codes and all that stuff. It's just like, I also want to be a breathwork facilitator because it's like something that I personally, I think differently of certifications, but I feel like I, in order to be in integrity and stuff, I should probably be, certified if I'm doing breath work because it's really important. But I just do breath work, I just teach people through meditation for breath work. So it's not something that I always kind of was like, oh, I need to go do that. But it's starting to come up more and more and more because that's what I currently do for myself and my clients. So it's like, I probably should go get certified in that too.
it's becoming more of just like an add-on that you do like
Yeah.
in your toolbox. Okay. So is
Yeah.
that what you want like is that what you want to dig into today when it comes to your business or what would you like to dig into?
I would like to dig into how I can do less work being a projector and attract the same or, like the clients that are for me, like, I don't want to say quicker because that's not really like a thing, but just attract them consistently, I should say.
So for the sake of clarity, I'm going to repeat back what I heard, and
Okay.
then you let me know if I've got it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you want to do less work, and do you want to earn more or less? Like so it's like you want to work less hours, but
Yeah.
attract better quality clients. Do you want to,
Yeah.
you see, it's a
Yeah.
little vague for
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
which one are you wanting? Like higher paying clients? Do you want to make the
Yes.
same you are now with less work? Do you see what I'm saying? Like how they're two different
Yeah, so
requests?
I want to do yes. So let me clarify that. So sorry. I wanted to work less and attract, higher high ticket clients.
Okay. So you would like to have more high ticket clients so that you can work less.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you tried anything yet? Like what have you tried so far?
In like just strategy or like what I've been working on.
Yeah. Like because
Okay.
so often like we have this vision in our mind. So like just kind of walk me through um what you've tried so far so that it's just kind of how my intuition works. Then
Okay.
I can just start
Yeah, that's
picking
fine.
up.
So what I've actually started working on is kind of getting clear on, for one, when I thought about like I wanted these clients and I wanted all this stuff, but I didn't have a clear system. So I created a clear system. Obviously that's human design. And I also was really clear about my avatar, like who I'm talking to,
Okay.
niche down my business, like niche down my content to be more direct instead of pointing out pain points. I started pointing out the outcomes and results,
Okay.
and just being very clear about what I do, like what my message.
So, okay, you said some amazing things there. You already have done the work of getting clear on what your systems are. So you have sort of your framework and how that is so important so that you can scale. People don't realize that when they're solopreneurs. So kudos and congrats on doing that. Because
Yeah,
that is huge, right? It's like if we do something more than once, there should be a system. And I love that you've done that work.
right.
Then you said that you have spent time getting clear on what your client, like your dream client looks like your
Yes.
avatar.
Yeah.
So can you share with us like who that is?
I mean, the simplest way, it's me, and it's me in a past version of myself. So, I mean, it could be me in a, future version of myself too, but somebody that is, is willing to do the work, is willing to heal, is willing to understand themselves more. So obviously is willing to learn human design and how they can implement it. So if it's like, if you're somebody listening that says that you can't meditate, that's you lying to yourself. That's, you need to learn, obviously, you need to practice it, and you need to just intentionally start it, do something, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is, because all of us here, I believe all of us here, regardless of whoever you are, or whatever your chart looks like, or, whatever you do right now, currently in this day, that doesn't, we all are intuitive. It's just, if you don't use your psychic abilities, then you don't need them. So it's like,
Use it.
why
Like
would you?
muscle.
Right.
Muscles. You don't use it, you lose it.
Right. Yeah. So that's usually, so somebody that obviously loves astrology, likes human design, or even is just willing to be like learn, or just willing to be like curious, or ask questions, like those why questions, of like the unknown questions that, if you were a kid, you probably asked why is the sky blue, or why is that way, or whatever. You just kind of be really curious to figure out there's a deeper reason to why you're asking.
So your ideal client is somebody that has probably done some work already and is
Yeah.
looking for deeper answers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they're if we're going to the idea that they were like you or me 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, something's wrong. I need help. I have no flipping idea what I need, but
Yeah.
oh, that sounds like what I need. I need Lauren.
Yeah.
Am I good? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so yeah, so you are to that stage of your business, like trajectory and your growth, that you're looking for a more savvy, you know what I'm saying? You're like looking for somebody that probably has had some success in their life, but maybe is like now like, okay, but now I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I need healing, I need next level. Like that's kind of what I'm getting is, am
Yeah.
I clear on that? Okay. So so it's like, do you have it mapped out of like, okay, this is how much time I want to work. And then I'm only going to allow my work with clients to take up this container. Like, have you mapped all that out?
In my head. Yeah.
Okay. So what is keeping you from putting it on paper?
um, Nothing. You just gave me an idea to actually write it down. It was like, I never thought to actually write it down. I just know intuitively that I only work this much a day,
Yeah.
and this is how much I do with clients. Or, if it's something that I, like healing, my healing sessions, I just accept them whenever, normally. Like they are scheduled, but I usually accept them whenever, because normally like the healing works for both me and the person. So I'm always open to healing. So that's not really like, I don't ever consider that to be, I don't know, all the things that I do in my business besides like administrative stuff. I always look at it like I enjoy to do it. Like I could do it all
Yeah.
day long, but
Yeah, well, that is the downside of loving what we do. Like
yeah,
I love what I do, and like I could work all day and like not eat or go to the bathroom, and then my kids
yeah,
are like,
yeah,
Mom. So Anthony
yeah,
always says, "Thank God we had kids," or I would like I'd be dead like in my office or something, like
I
having the
know.
best. But I was like, he's like, "But you'd be smiling." So
Yeah,
so that is like, but setting the parameters around it, like the containers, have been such a blessing.
yeah,
So I'm wondering if you like got really clear on these are the hours I can dedicate, maybe a little more hours to healing if that's something that you're comfortable doing more of. But
right,
then these high ticket clients, this is going to be like the best way to look at this is like, who have you already worked with that's ready to go to the next level? It's like oftentimes it's going back through your Rolodex of people that are already in your network and either asking them, are they ready to go to the next level? Or who they know that's ready to go to the next level because they've already worked with you. They know what you can provide. That's usually like the easiest way to get like a cash infusion in your business. And
right,
we sometimes feel like, and I'm not trying to put words in everyone's mouth, but I'm just for the collective, this is what I hear all the time. And I've been guilty of this myself, is that we sometimes feel like, oh, we've already worked with them. So that would be weird to ask. But I'm telling you, it's like asking those who have already stood up to say, hey, I want to work with you, if they're ready to
right,
go to the next level, or if they, hey, these are the changes I've made in my business. I'm doing this higher, it's like a higher ticket type
yeah,
of work. Explain obviously the results and the benefits. Who do you know? They're usually the most happy to help you spread the word. So have you
right.
tried that yet?
No, but that's an idea.
Okay. Because
I'm
that
gonna,
like that's
I'm gonna
usually the
try.
quickest. Like it's like if we're talking about quanta, right? Like
Yeah,
that's a quick way.
yeah,
And it's so funny because it's almost like too easy. So we just kind of skip over it and think, oh, we have to go hard with the
yeah,
market.
yeah.
So I would say try there first. Like that would be my first thing. And
Okay,
then if you write this out, like exactly how many clients do you need at what cost to have it be this like sort of growth, like a stretch growth in your business? And then what's your like above that? What's your like big leap? Right.
yeah,
And you want to be playing within that because oftentimes when we are trying to grow and scale, and I work with a lot of service providers, and service providers are healers. We're heart-centered business owners. And
yeah,
so we kind of get into this space about, oh, but I would do it for free because I like it. But the facts are, if we're not profitable, we just have an expensive hobby.
right. Yeah,
So and we also give the best work. So I like to put it in this context. We are performing at our highest vibration and doing the best work possible when we are energetically and financially compensated.
right. Yeah,
So
I think you're saying.
oftentimes we'll allow ourselves to get worn out and beat down by giving too much
Right,
because so that's like the thing, like run the numbers, and you're almost have to run them where it's higher than you think because you're going to add in stuff. There's going to be some, there might be oh, well, this person needed extra, right? And then they didn't pay
yeah,
for it. And then oftentimes then one of the things I'll say is like, okay, go back through all the work that you're already doing right now and see who has been getting way more, like they're getting more service than they're paying for.
right.
That's like another way that most service providers, until they look at it through this lens, are it's like a bleeding hole of money in their business. So look where you're already giving more value and doing sort of the next layer of service, but they're
Hmm.
paying less, and start educating them on what they're getting.
Okay.
So because it's really hard when we've done this, it's really hard to then say, oh, well, now it's $500. They're like, wait, I was paying 75. Like that's a huge jump.
Yeah, yeah,
However, However, if you say, hey, this is what I'm doing, do you know anyone? Like, so you can kind of start saying, this is the direction of my business. You've been getting this for this, and just kind of start planting the seed. Now, there
Right.
might be a time where it has to shift. You might not even be doing that service anymore. Um, and that's going to help you work less so you can earn more. This is the hard part though. This is where it's really fun to make sure we are kind of helping young female entrepreneurs behind us, because when
Yeah.
people don't want to come with you, you can refer them to somebody else that's operating at the price point you used to be at.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can create space for more.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I'm always like, people are always like, you're so awesome. Like, thank you for giving me that client. Why not?
Right.
What am I going to like? They've been so kind to invest in me and allow me to be part of their experience in any way that I've served them. And I'm going to leave them hanging. Like,
Right.
I always refer to somebody else, because there are people that aren't going to go on the journey with you. And it's okay to bless and release them.
Right. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
And I would just like really like, so really be completely authentically yourself, which you always are.
Mm.
And then what was coming up for me is go in groups, events, live, social, anything where you are noticing that what gets people to say, how can I work with you? You have this amazing magnetic ability where, and maybe it's because you're a projector needs the invitation. So if you can get people to say, hey, how can I work with you? Pay attention to those rooms. If it's like you're in a room at a networking event, you're at a female retreat, a conference, a yoga studio, whatever, or a social, group. Where are people saying, hey, how can I work with you? And spend more time there. Because the way that if you're really working with your design, you saying the powerful words of what you do is going to have people say, oh my God, how do I work with you? And
Yeah.
when you hear that, that's where you want to be more. You just want to show up more in those spaces and charge what you're worth.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I was gonna say I'm going to that event on Sunday with Kate.
Oh, you have an event. Oh,
She-
good. There's a fun
I know. I was
event.
gonna say I was gonna say I wish you lived closer.
Oh, fun. Is it in Jersey or is it in
Yeah.
Delaware where you live?
Yeah.
Jersey.
In
Okay.
Jersey.
Oh, see, so this is so this is face to face. So this is a really perfect way for
I was
you.
gonna say I didn't know, I wasn't sure if you knew or not that I was going. And I was
I
like,
didn't even know.
when Kate invited me, she was like, I want you to meet these people, all that stuff.
Oh, how
So,
funny is
and
that?
I was like,
Okay.
okay. And it's more of like, it's like a retreat kind of. It's not like a event that you're sitting there, all day. It's like
Yeah.
very
So you get to
interactive.
talk. Yeah. So this will be a good place for you to test that. Like,
Yeah.
just be yourself, make conversation. You're just so friendly. I feel like you always get everybody talking. So be the amazing Lauren that you are.
It's
And
funny that you
then
say that because I'm definitely not an extrovert. I'm an introvert.
I feel like
And
you are though.
usually, but I do, but I have a good way of like connecting people. It's like, having people talk. Cause if it's like, I can't be in a room when nobody's talking, I'll be the first one to talk and then like have everybody talk, or I'll make like some weird, funny joke and like people would just like start talking. Cause it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable for me to not, like if we're all in a room and nobody's talking, it's like I get uncomfortable. Yeah.
Oh, like you have, okay. So
So it's like
that
I have this
the
really,
awkward silence is too much for you. Like,
yeah, I'm like, oh God, please somebody say something. And then it's like, just say this. And I'm like, okay, I'll say this. And then like everybody starts laughing.
that
Like,
is so funny. Yeah.
because I think everybody's probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Like it's awkward.
Yeah.
We have to
Yeah.
just, I feel like I have a good, it's like I have a superpower of like connecting people or like having
Yeah.
people talk or feel comfortable, I should say. But it's because I have to watch that too, because I can see people deeply and I can make people uncomfortable. So,
Well, and so that's the thing. So be careful and don't give your advice, don't give
yeah.
it away to people that
Like, hey,
didn't
do you
ask
want to know
for
what
it.
you can do with your home,
Yeah,
like that's like falling apart
exactly.
right now? I can tell you. They're
Yeah.
really
So
like,
just like,
what?
be mindful, just be mindful of that. Like, I think I've told you this before. My son's a projector too, so I have to work with him on the same thing. Like he just always sees what people need, and he's
Yeah,
little. He wants to just tell you. And like adults don't get this that are not as aware as he is. And it's
yeah,
like it's a thing all the time. And I'm like,
yeah,
wait till you're invited. And so it's the same thing. Like it,
yeah.
but with your business, I would really say that all of this sort of magical key for you of scaling to the next level, people that are willing to pay for a higher level service because of what you provide is going to come from how can I work with you?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah. So even if it's like what you're doing now, like your socials, like keep doing all of that, keep collaborating. But I would really pay attention to where that happens. Like, where do people say that? And then you work with people that you love. And then once you have a few, like like I would say anywhere from a half a dozen to a dozen of those types of clients that you really, really love working with, um, then you can start like really target marketing because you'll have a really clear sort of buying habit, what they need, what they're going through, and all of this will become much clearer for you.
yeah,
Is
that
that
makes sense.
is that helpful?
Yes, that was very helpful. It was
Yeah,
all of the things that I needed to hear.
yeah, because I mean, it's like all the things like you can do specialty things with your like with the human design that attracts people and collaboration. So you can do all that. And I would say continue to do it, but really, really listen for how can I work with you?
Okay,
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly say like I probably could think about all the times that people say that, and I always think of, well, what the hell did I say for them to say that? And sometimes it's just something is pulling them towards me, and they don't really know.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so if like that's an interesting thing because I have gone through phases of time where I'm like, "Oh my God, I said that." Like I'll have clients find me 10 years later and I'm
Yeah,
like, "What did I say that you remember?" And why like
yeah,
it's like so funny. I'm like 10 years, think of all the cool stuff we could have done. Like why'd you wait so long?
yeah,
And they'll
yeah.
tell me, "Oh, because you said this on stage." I'm like, I always want to know what I said because I clearly don't remember. It was just nonsense words to me.
Right.
But the
Yeah,
more that you ask people, like, okay, so what did I say that made you know you wanted to work with me? That you
yeah,
would ask, like when you could ask that question
yeah.
when you're onboarding your new clients, I think that's really helpful. And then the other thing about going with high ticket, um, in my experience, I don't speak for everyone, but in my experience, and 99% of my clients, higher ticket clients actually need less handholding. It's really amazing.
Good.
You can
That's
work. So I would get really clear about what your service offerings are at the
okay.
higher level. And you may
Okay.
have to like get rid of stuff that is not, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah,
kind of taking up time. I know this is just always an easy one. I left the salon industry, obviously, but this is just an easy one for people to understand. Like, do not market for kids cuts when you want to do full on balayage extensions, right? People understand the
right,
difference in those costs. So
right.
don't be advertising yourself for this like low, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
thing when you're really wanting people that are ready to invest in themselves
right.
and
Yeah,
get results, right? So, it's always like a funny thing. I'm like, this makes no sense. You're so busy that you need to get rid of clients. The best way to get rid of some of them is to raise your prices, right? Is to raise your
right.
prices. But
Yeah,
we get stuck to it because we love them. And that's where
yeah,
creating that sort of pipeline of having other people that you can refer them to is a beautiful thing. Because then it creates space
yeah,
for you to grow, attract like we grow in our business and we're constantly evolving. And when we embody that, we start attracting the next level.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So what do you think you're going to do first? What action are you going to take?
First I'm gonna write down, I'm gonna take the advice and write down pretty much like for my schedule. So it's like write down how much I want to work, how much I want like to what I want to do with clients. And then I'm going to, like you just said, get very clear on, my high ticket offer before. And it's right in alignment too, because I'm actually working on my website again. So that will be good. I could put all that information on my website.
That's exciting. So, Lauren, if any of our listeners, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot, want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Social media, or like I said, my website's not up yet, but the best way to get in hold of me would be on Facebook Messenger, any type of like TikTok. It could be on, you can't message me on
Right.
YouTube, but
You're everywhere. Okay. I'll make sure we include all your information in the show notes. Do
okay.
you have any other questions? Like, did anything come up for you that you're like, okay, now I have another question?
No, not that I can think of. Mm-mm.
So what was this helpful for you?
It was very helpful. It's everything
Yay.
I needed. I would say everything I needed to the next steps in what I need to do.
Well, we are really excited to be on this journey with you. So please reach out, update us on what's working. Because I would love to be able to share that with
Yeah.
our audience of okay, Lauren took this action and this is what happened.
Yeah.
So write out all of that, all the stuff that we talked about so that
Okay.
you can start tracking and measuring and then share the results with us. Because that will be really fun to update people.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much. So we just want to say thank you so much for being here. And a lot of the things you can see that we discussed are little areas that you probably want to take a look at in your own business. And we would love to know which of these new ideas, strategy that you're going to try. You can reach out to me at Tracey Watt Serino on Instagram, Facebook, to anywhere. I'm everywhere, like Lauren. I'm at everywhere. And let me know what action you're going to take. Or you can comment right below in the comments where you are watching this podcast episode.